Family, what up? I have a question for you today. It's with a little sense of urgency. Here's the word. Here's the question. It is, what are you doing? Serious question that I'm asking right now. What are you doing? What are you doing with your gifts? What are you doing with your talents? What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your resources? With all of the challenges that are happening in us and around us, this is the perfect opportunity for us to create. This is the perfect opportunity for us to partner, collaborate, be in the right environments where solutions are being discussed. There's something that's happening June 6th and 7th that I think will be a perfect opportunity for all of us to come together. And it's our second installment of Infusion. And the focus and the theme is the word innovate. Oh yeah, we're going to be talking solutions. We're going to be talking creating. We're going to be talking renovating. We're going to be talking modernizing. We're going to be talking about progress and moving forward because the solution is within us. So if you feel stuck, you want to be there June 6th and 7th. You feel frustrated, you want to be there June 6th and 7th because there is something you can do about it. I've invited my good brother, Dr. Jermone Glenn, to join us as we curate this education to give us the tools that we need to be innovative. Sometimes necessity is the fuel for innovation. And I believe now is the time for us to create. See you June 6th and 7th. Family, what up? What up? Do me a favor, y'all. Tonight, I want you to share this live. As you log in, let us know where you're logging in from. Let's go ahead and tag. Let people know that we are live. T, let me tag you so we can share this live tonight. Man, I'm excited, y'all. I have my sister with me. We've known each other for, I'm going to just say some time, right? Just so that I don't say too much about how long she's been living on earth, right? But you know, just relationship over the years with the family, her mom, her aunts, her grandmother, her cousins, you know, just extended family, and we would always spend, you know, a part of the summer together at our holy convocation, and it's just exciting to see what God is doing in her and through her in the different spaces that, you know, she's in. And so tonight we're going to be talking or subjects of what we're calling infusion talks, right? And so if you know, June 6th and 7th is our next infusion. It's our next session, and the theme is innovate. And so earlier this year, we had our first infusion and we talked about soul care. Okay. And Dr. Guy Robinson, I mean, just really gave us what we needed to help us navigate, right? Like, because there are people who have goals, mm-hmm. and sometimes we don't consider what it takes to achieve those goals. And so in the process, it's not just enough to go get your nails done, go get a haircut, right? And focus on grooming and call that self-care. Yeah. But it's important to take a moment out to take care of your soul, because as you're working towards those goals, you have to take moments and pause to check to make sure your attitude is right, your mindset is right, your spirit is right, your soul is right, so that you don't achieve those goals and to kind of be in a position where you're successful but you're lonely.
Yep.
You've got the degree, but you've developed bitterness in the process because you didn't check your soul. So Guy Robinson really gave us what we needed. And if you missed that, you can go to our YouTube page at CCCOFNJ and go back to March 7th and 8th. And it was an amazing weekend with Dr. Robinson. And so here we are journeying just a little more than 2 weeks away from Infusion, our summer session with Dr. Jermone Glenn and Purcy Robinson and our good sister, Quiana Coley.
Oh, yeah, my girl.
Weekend, and our theme is innovation, and so, or innovate. So we've been having these conversations about innovate. I've been preaching sermons about innovation. We've been looking at companies like Apple. We've been looking at companies like Netflix. We've been looking at companies like Life Church, right, which is the group behind the Bible app, mm-hmm. where, you know, they take this Bible. Hey, Ashley, they take this Bible that we would read, right, the physical Bible, and they put it on this device, right, that we would have access to all of the Bibles, different translations, man. So shout out to Craig Groeschel and that group of people that are connected. That's innovative, right? How do we make this more efficient? How do we answer questions? How do we resolve problems like in an innovative way to be efficient and be effective?
Yes.
So we've been having these conversations and talks. We've been preaching sermons, and man, Dr. Glenn is going to come and kind of give us the summation of that. We got 2 days with him, and we're excited. June 6th and 7th. You're in the North Jersey area, New York area, tri-state area, Connecticut. Listen, if you want to fly in, by all means, I promise you, it will be worth. We're calling it an investment. June 6th is open to the public. June 7th, there is a registration charge. It is $50. That fee will be available up until the day of, and if you're paying at the door, it's going to be $65. And so we thank God for all of those that have already made the investment. We have about 80 seats left, so we are talking to our network. We're talking to our family, our friends, to help us meet this goal. 80 more seats. We're counting down. We believe, God, that in the next 2.5 weeks, we'll get those 80 seats filled. Wow. That was a commercial, T. We had to pay the bills. You know what they say.
I got you. I love it.
We're like, hey, this toothpaste company, right? And then they said they had to pay the bills. Man, shout out to my good brother Sharif. We're partnering on a few things. My brother Sharif is sponsoring 2 men.
Wow.
Brother Sharif is sponsoring 2 men. So there's 2 more seats. So brothers, you out there, I promise you, it's an investment. It's just a few hours of your time on that Saturday. Dr. Glenn is innovative. He's I always call him an instigator of purpose. He instigates purpose and he instigates into action, because we cannot say that we want success and live in our comfort zones. It's an oxymoron. It's a conflict of interest. It's the antithesis of being productive, right? Or movement, right? And so, you want to be with us June 6th and 7th. That's all I'm saying. And my sister's here tonight to contribute to the conversation. Sheeta, my cousin Sheeta is on. Thanks, Sheeta, for joining tonight. Sharif, thank you so much. We're gonna talk about the sponsorship. We got a couple of scholarship opportunities. I know a couple of other men that are in my life, my brothers. They're sponsoring some people. So we got a few. So you can DM me. If you have my number, you can text me. You can email me. Inbox me tonight. You want to take advantage of those scholarship offers, or if you want to sponsor somebody, listen, we're going to get these 80 seats filled. All right. So, man, shout out to Shawanda. Good to see you, sis. Thanks for logging in tonight. Now, Shawanda, are you on the South Carolina side or the Georgia side? Are you on the South Carolina side or the Georgia side? I can't remember. But I know that at one point she was worshiping in my dad's hometown of Aiken, South Carolina. And so we thank God for her. But y'all, listen, let's get to it. You can go to cccofnj.org to register. Click on the flyer. It'll take you to the PayPal link. You can just go ahead and enter your dollar amount, and we'll capture your information and send you your confirmation. So, y'all, we are on live tonight with my sister, Tiara Jones. From Virginia. She's the co-founder of Strategic Site Consulting. She wears several hats where she serves in ministry, working with her dad and her mom in ministry and her family. They're a strong family, anointed family, gifted family. Tiara does multiple things well. There's a saying, jack of all trades, master of none. And what most people don't know is that's just the first clause of that particular statement. And right. And usually that statement kind of, throws off at people who, do multiple things well, but they may say, but they're not focused. Well, in the pandemic, we had to pivot and do some things that we wouldn't normally do. Right. And we had to do multiple things, right? Especially if you work in what we call a family-sized ministry. So we're going to tap into that tonight, y'all, because some of you are working in ministry and, you do several things well. And so we don't want you to think that that's a curse. That's an actual gift, right? Here's the reality. For most of us, right? You do multiple things well. So that means, on Monday, you may wear one hat. On Tuesday, you may wear another hat. On Wednesday, you may wear the hat that you wore on Monday and Tuesday, right? All in one day, all in 1 hour. That means that you're valuable, that you have valuable, that you have value, and you have the ability to be innovative. One of the reasons why I reached out to Tiara, because for many people, they pick celebrities, they pick notables to have certain conversations as if they're the only subject matter experts or the only ones that can execute, when we have so many people that may not have the platform or the popularity, man, that's operating at a high level, right? And you do it every day. So, it's all about T tonight. So, man, just introduce yourself, T, and then we're going to play a little game, get to know you a little bit, and then we'll get into our questions.
Okay, awesome. So I am Tiara Jones, co-founder, CEO, COO of Strategic Site Consulting. I'm a PK. I have been in the church all of my life. So I have, like Jason said, I do all the things from admin to singing to the camera to the sound. I've done it all. You do it all. You get in where when work needs to be done, you get it done. And especially in the first family, I know that you can relate to it. A lot of people can relate to it. You just step in where you need to step in. And so from there, I have learned a lot of things that I never thought I would learn or wanted to learn. I still had to learn because you got to get things done. There's kingdom work that has to be done, and you got to do it. So yeah, that's me.
Man, so T, I want to play a little game before we get started into the serious part of our questions.
Okay.
And this game is called This or That.
Okay.
Right. You can get with this, or you can get with that. Or you can okay, no, not the song. Here we go. So, all right. City. If we're talking about vacations, city or beach?
Beach.
Fried chicken, baked chicken.
Fried chicken for sure.
Boys to Men, Jodeci.
Ooh. I'm gonna have to say Jodeci.
Martin, Jamie Foxx.
Oh, Martin all day.
R&B, hip hop.
R&B.
New York, LA.
I think I have to say LA.
Bentley, Lamborghini.
Bentleys are big. I say Lamborghini.
All right, last one. Gospel music or CCM?
Gospel, come on now. Gospel all day. I mean, I love my little CCM songs, but gospel all day.
Cool. As a woman entrepreneur in the minority business world, this wasn't on the list, but T, who are some of the women that inspire you?
I would say not even, away from business and all of that, I would have to say my mother for sure. That inspired me. She's been through a lot health-wise, but she still is one of
amazing.
The smartest women I know. Like, she's always like, oh, I'm not in corporate anymore. I don't know how to do this. And I'm like, nah, but I need you to proofread this. Like, I'm really trying to put her on payroll because I'm like, I need you to do this. And so, I mean, she continues to persevere. She continues to amaze. I mean, all of us, her story. I mean, she never gave up on life when she could have easily had an excuse. And that is what keeps me going. I can't, every time that I look at her, when I see her preach now and all of that, wow. I know that, you know where she's going. Now she's a preacher. She preached on Mother's Day. And so preaching, she was singing before, and for her to sing before and preach, and she was in heels. I mean, God has brought her a very, very long way. And so I see her and I know if she can get through it and she can do it, I know that I can. So she inspires me. That is one woman that she keeps me going. She listens to me. My dad always says that anytime I get off of work, I have to debrief, and she will sit there and she will listen. It's just for an hour, but she will sit there and she will listen to me say whatever I got to say. So it would have to be her. Definitely have to be her.
Oh man, that's amazing. That's good. Man, shout out to your mom's Lady Jones, man. She's an amazing, amazing, wonderful person.
She is.
Most people will, oh, she's anointed. No, she's a wonderful person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that speaks, just to her big heart and her character. Let's talk a little bit about, we've, as I mentioned, Infusion Talks, we've been talking about being innovative, which is to create, which is to enhance, which is to solve, which is to resolve, modernize, upgrade, renovate, like just so many synonyms and words that are connected to innovation. And with your consulting business, right?
Yeah.
With your consulting bit. Praise the Lord, Brother Haas. God bless you, man of God. With your business, what does innovation look like?
So I would say for us, we're small and we are dispersed against different states. So for me, it's really important that, like, when it comes to HR, finances, and all that, I have the business with my brother-in-law Ray, and we do it all ourselves. Like, we don't have, people coming in, helping, doing the HR, doing like all of those back end operations. And one thing with a operations background, like, and having a strong foundation, that means everything to me, because I don't like chaos. I don't like things to be unorganized or any of that. And so, and one way that what we've been trying to do to keep our team, still engaged with being in different states and things like that, is to look for different systems and integrated systems that work for everyone, that's easy to use. Because I mean, everybody's in different places when it comes to tech. Like, we have engineers that, I mean, we have very, very smart people, but still, when it comes to some of these platforms, they're not intuitive and things like that. And so we spent a lot of time, a lot of research, and going through, different scenarios and systems on what makes sense for us, for our entire team to connect remotely. And we'll just make sure everybody knows what's going on with our program that we work with. Everyone knows what's going on with us, internally. And so for us, innovation looked like understanding what the foundation of our operations was at when we first started. It was maybe about 3 of us. And now, glory to God, we're at 9. And so looking at that and seeing how we could grow smartly, because I know with a lot of people, they would grow after the new shiny platform that's out there, or this came on the scene, let me go get that.
Yeah.
They're done that, wasted a lot of money, just trying to do what every other business, big business, small business, was trying to do.
Yeah.
But what I did when we started out, you got to start what makes sense for you, financially, and what you can handle with your time. And so we started off small, we started off small as in using Excel, using the things that came free, like using all those things. And then when I got that system at a good place, at a good stable place, and I understood how it flowed and how it worked, I looked for a system that I could then kind of just transition that over into like a more integrated system. And so integration is huge for me. And so every system that we have, I needed to talk to each other. And so, when it comes to our 401k, when it comes to our benefits, payroll, time, all of that, everything needs to talk. Because if we're moving to bigger people and we got different people in different states, different time zones, different things like that, everything has to come together at one system. And so for innovation, as we grew, and we grew very, very quickly, I would say December 2023, we were still at about 3 people. And it was around this time last year that we had quite a few people come in at one time. And so because Ray and I were thinking ahead of time, we knew what our foundation was, we knew what we needed, we were able to transition seamlessly into a system that worked for us. And so that's what innovation looked like for me, was taking our operations to a different level. But I know I wouldn't have been able to do that if I started out with all these big things that were segregated, didn't talk to each other, no one knew how to use. Where do I go to look for this? Where is that? I mean, so I think that's one, and we get this compliment a lot with people that have worked with us. We're not the, traditional, consulting government contracting company. To us, we're a family. So When people have questions, like you can reach, any of us at any time. And they always say, you just make it easy. Like, I don't have to talk to 50 million people to get an answer. Like, I don't have to go into that system and this system. It's just easy. Like, I get paid on time. I know what I'm getting paid. Like, everything is just seamless. And it makes a difference because, yes, there can be a lot of back end paperwork and administrative stuff that sometimes you have to do depending on your job. But if you can, thinking about innovation, you got to think about the people you're working with. It's not just about you and where you're going with your business and everything, but how is that going to impact the rest of the team? And so that's, some of the things that we thought about with growing the business, and even it's still, trying to grow the business now, what makes sense. And not only what makes sense for the employees, but as we grow with business development, what makes sense with a customer relationship management system, and how can, as we go out and we talk to different other small businesses, other different agencies, state, federal, local, how can we then capture that information into a system where it'll be easy to do proposals, easy to, follow up and things like that. And so that's how I look at innovation. When you talked about efficiency and processes and productivity, that's how I look at it, is looking at something that's going to be able to meet multiple needs, and then make sure it integrates well and is easy to use. So you can get spun up.
It gotta be friendly. Gotta be friendly. Listen, gotta be friendly.
Sitting and looking at hours of training, like, we got things to do. So
got things to do. Listen, it just can't be a situation where I hit one button and wipe out 3 days of work.
Exactly.
And then I gotta start all over. Like,
no, we need backups, we need things. So that
facts.
That's big deal. And I need to be able to talk to a person. Like,
yes. Although I don't know if it's public yet, but the company that pays me to log on every single day, I'll give a little hint. We had a promo a few years ago that was easy, and last year we launched a campaign that business is human.
Yes.
Business is human, and it was kind of just balancing the impact of AI. Like, there are just some things that AI is good for.
Mm-hmm.
It's efficient. It gives time back so that you can focus on, just customer impact.
Yes.
Right? You can focus on, making sure you're meeting customers' needs, right? Outside of, whatever product or services you have, just making sure that relationship is still good. And so we were trying to balance, that AI, human to human experience. Like, we're not dismissing AI. AI is very useful, but AI just sometimes don't meet the need emotionally.
Yeah.
AI doesn't, do some things that sometimes, you wanna talk to someone, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's not just, I want this product, or this product isn't working, but I want to tell my story, like, because I need to get this out of me, So for those that don't know, I do have a customer service background, and so, we do quality assurance, we manage, reps, associates, have multiple conversations just about customer experience, and so those things are critical to your day to day. So I definitely understand, but T, because as a pastor, I'm bivocational. For you, how does this translate over to ministry? Because, it's often said a lot of times that ministry or churches aren't as innovative, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of creativity that goes into Sunday. There's a lot of innovation, but I don't think people really understand what it is.
Yeah.
Because they are, looking at, let's just say, how a corporate company speaks about innovation and what they're doing, and it's like, nah, the different things that you try and the nuances of, the praise team, the preacher, the preparation of the sermon, whether he's presenting with the traditional Bible or on the iPad with the screens, right? You're following along with the scriptures. For those who don't have their Bibles, look at the screen. Like just all of these things that, just kind of, make the experience, a little more friendly. Let's talk about that just from a ministry perspective, what that looks like for you, as you're working closely with your mom and dad there and the people at your church. What does innovation look like there?
Absolutely. So I think and one of the ways it started, of course, with the pandemic and the whole virtual and figuring out, okay, we can't be together in person. How we gonna figure out this whole tech thing? And like, we're a small church, we don't have all this equipment, but we had to use, what we had. And like, I don't have a background in any of that stuff. But again, you start researching, you start looking at things, you start tapping into people that do know, you start looking to see. I be, it's funny because I be zooming in on other people's live streams, like what equipment they got, what's that board, what they got going on.
Listen, you start noticing.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so I know I can't get all of that, but what's the mini version of that? And that's what we did. So we have with our, our sound and with the whole live stream experience and all that, we've come a long way, and it was a lot of trial and error, but what was important, like what you talked about, was the experience for the person on the other end. And so we wanted to make sure that you could not only just hear the sound, but you could hear the music too, because the music plays a different role. And like, it's important to have that keyboard coming in the way that it should, to have the drums coming in the way that it should. And it's just not some background noise, like all those different things matter. And so like, I say we have one of the best sound guys, in this side of the world, because he's amazing in how he brings things in, and he was very innovative when it came to that, because we have a sax, we got the drums, we have different keyboards, and we got guitar players and all that, bass players come in, and he gets it all together with the different voices. Like we have about 2 hours just setting up the sound, and just you don't understand how important that sound is for the experience, not only in the church, but you can have a whole worship experience in your house when you get that sound right, and they can feel, that same type of feeling. And so I think that's in one way. The second way is when you talked about how pastors are presenting their sermon and in different ways. And I think one way that we have shown that, we've been doing a health series since the beginning of this year.
Nice.
And each Sunday because we have multiple nurses, doctors in our church. And so they've been coming up every Sunday and speaking on a health topic that affects specifically our community. And so this past Sunday, they decided to do a roundtable with my dad, and they talked about prostate cancer. They talked about breast cancer. And so what he did is they had the 3 chairs, they set it up. We had a moderator, and we had 2 people, my dad being one of them. He shared his story about his prostate cancer. We had someone else share a story about how they've been dealing with, their health and different breast cancer screenings and things like that. And it was, in a traditional church, it would have been like, no, we can't do this. No, you got to preach the sermon. But, he exalted on your body being a temple. And then they talked about their experience and how that plays in a role. Because if you're not in the health condition that you should be in, how are you going to be useful to the kingdom? And how are you going to live out your purpose? And so that's kind of how we brought in a different way. And you got to be innovative. You got to hit home when it comes to this. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world right now. Stress is hitting you. We're, some of us are living in fear because of all the different changes in healthcare and like that. So we have to think about a different way to reach the people. We have all of these resources. We have all of these doctors and nurses in our house. How can we then use that to benefit others? And so we're bringing education, we're bringing empowerment, back into it. And so being supportive to our healthcare team and making sure they have what they need. And so we've had QR codes, so then people that are watching live can get the QR code so they can see the flyers. Like our healthcare team takes time to put together very, very pretty, very informative graphics and flyers. And so those are things that we're bringing in, and it's very different from what we did pre-pandemic. It's very different than I did at very traditional churches. Like, you would have never seen that. Like, the deacon boards would have never approved that, because you know how that goes in some of the churches. And so you have to go with, the needs of the people, what is going on, in the world at this point. I mean, we've even done things when it comes to with the food supply and things like that, like talking about gardens and what does that mean? And how can you grow a garden? How can, my dad has a garden. And so he's been working with other members at the church that have gardens, and
this is good.
And eggs, fresh eggs. And you can get eggs at the church, like all these different things that, this is like, the church is the storehouse. And so you got to have the education. That's where you come. And I think one of the most important things is a lot of churches don't realize who they have in their house. Like, they come to church, you do your spiritual gift test and all of that, but there are so many other gifts that they're using for their job that can then translate. Like you said, how does that corporate experience then translate back into the church? And so it's so important to survey your church, survey your people. What are you doing? Yeah. You can even ask them, what are you doing in the context of, the corporate world? And then you can get your team together and creatively look at the surveys and say, okay, I can use this person here. I can use this person here. Because more than likely, everything that you need is already sitting in your house.
Yeah. I love it.
You just got to tap into it. And then you have to think differently on how you can leverage it. And you have to get out of the mindset of the traditional church. We're having church to save lives, to get souls saved, to get people to God. And we got to do what it takes. So if that means doing a round table instead of having a traditional sermon, if that means doing church, outside, or it's just, you got to switch things up. You got to switch things up.
See, I love it. You're saying a lot of good stuff. And one of the things that the moments I want to really pause on right here is knowing what you have, what resources you have. One of the things that I talked about in the sermon was, one, recognize what's it, because I recently preached the sermon, what's in your hand. Mm-hmm. And we were looking at Moses and the staff, and the scripture says that, he held the staff out, put the staff down, staff became a snake, picked the staff back up, picked the snake up by the tail, and it became a staff again. But then in verse 17, I believe Exodus 4:17, he says, and you will do many signs and wonders with that staff, right? And here's the staff that he uses for something else now being repurposed, right, to perform miracles. And so, we're looking at, what we don't have a lot, that we're missing at what we do have to actually make something happen. And a lot of times, again, it's within our reach, right? Whether it's people or something that's in us.
Yep.
Right. Some of us have gifts that's sitting inside of us that's lying dormant, have not used it. Right. And I told the church, I said, you're probably not telling God you have a speech issue, right? That you're not using the excuses that Moses used. Right. But you're probably saying something like, well, what if they don't appreciate it? You're probably saying things like, what if they don't like it? Mm-hmm. Right? Because you speak well, right? You you have the gift, but you're now putting the onus on someone else, or you're not doing it because based on someone else's response, or you just don't want to do it, right? So the excuses for us may be a little different, but at the end of the day, it's still an excuse, and it doesn't negate the fact that whatever God is asking us to do, that is within us, right? And part of innovation is recognizing the resources that you have, and then second, employing them.
Absolutely.
Employ them.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, action.
Yeah, like you were just mentioning using your your healthcare staff, which is, I mean, really critical, especially because we were just in a men's session on a couple of weeks ago, and the guy that was leading, his name is Doug, and Doug was saying, I was a vegan and I was still sick, but I was sick not because I wasn't eating healthy. I was sick because I was stressing.
See, listen, and when we talked about that, Like the way that stress presents itself in the body, like you don't even, I think sometimes, and I speak this for myself, you don't realize what you're holding in. Because I do so many things, I'm going in so many different directions. It's just like my body is stressed, but I'm so used to it. I'm going. And I'm telling you, it will, I know from experience, it will take you down so fast. And then where are you? What do you have to show for it then? I'm doing all these things, being so active, but not recognizing everything that I'm internalizing, and it got me nowhere.
Man, I've heard something at least 3 times in the last 7 days. It is that we are human beings and not human doings.
Yes.
But we treat our bodies like we're human doings, like we're machines.
Energizer Bunny, just going.
And the fact that you mentioned you've become so immune to stress, you don't even know when you're stressing.
Yeah.
Like you just going, you just pumping it out. You just getting it done. You're like overworking, right? But for you, that's the norm. And your body is like, man, we don't really need to be doing it at this pace every single day.
No, it does not work. And so you have to be very intentional about, okay, how can I do this smartly? So I'm not working so hard, that I'm not literally trying to carry so much on my shoulders. Like it doesn't have to be like that. And because, it's a family church and all that, I'm just so used to being like, I'll just do it myself. I'll just get it done. And my sister and my mom and my dad, and they're like, no. You got to start putting this stuff off. There's like, you can't run the business. You can't, because I also work on contract with the business. So it's two kind of hats there. And then you can't do all of this within the church, because if we lose you, it's going to be a big deal. So they were like, you have to take a step back. And so you had to take a step back. Okay. So what can I do to kind of lessen the load? And it's not always who can I dump it off to, but what am I doing that doesn't necessarily, that could be done in a different way, that I don't have to just, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it took some time for me to realize it, because I was in denial, and I'd be like, oh no, I'm okay. I'm gonna keep running. And at the beginning of the year, I was barely making it. I'd be completely honest with you. I would say from January to March, I was literally I was barely making. My doctor was just like, I really don't know how you're even sitting here and surviving. He was like, you're young. You don't look like what your blood tests say. But he said, your body is fighting to keep you alive right now. And it was a wake up call for sure.
We got to talk. Wow. That's
wake up call. And it's just like, you don't have to, and that's one of the reasons why the whole health ministry was so important, because you don't have to get to that. You don't want to get there. You don't want to get there. And so just looking at our systems internally, like we recently brought on, so we have Easy Tithe that we use for like our tithes and offering and things like that. But they're by a brand called Ministry Brands. And there's like a lot of different brands on the Ministry Brands. And so they've been transitioning Easy Tithe to their Amplify platform. And so in that transition, we didn't necessarily realize all the other features and programs that they had. Come to find out, they have, not only can they do like the tithes and the offering, they have calendars, they have apps that all you got to do is plug and play. You got a whole that's forward facing, like all of these things. So I'm sitting here trying to send emails, tell these people, oh, can you be here? Can you do this? All these different things that I'm doing that takes time, it takes effort. All I got to do is hit a button and hit a push notification.
T, let's real quick. Can you share the name of that company again? I mean, I know you're not an ambassador.
Oh, yeah, no, but if it's gonna help the kids,
that's what I was gonna say. If it's gonna help to, because I see some pastors that are logged on tonight. I see some people jumping in and out. Shout out to my brother Dion Cashaw. Dion, man, we got to get up here and have some innovative talks, man. I see the work that you're doing, and we definitely got to catch up. So, but we'll love you. We'll love to have you on before June 6th and 7th, man, to, talk about innovation, what you're doing in the space that you are, that you're working in with your investments, man. Okay, well, he said, yeah, I'm ready. I got you, man. I'll text you tonight, and we'll get a date. within the next couple of weeks, because again, we're trying to just tackle different areas, to show people what innovation look like. Because one of the things that I was saying in one of the promo videos, that innovation isn't only for creative arts and entertainment, right? Right now, you can be innovative in your relationship, how you keep your relationships alive. Right. With your spouse, with your family, keeping people engaged. In church, we just talked about engagement, right? Meeting needs, right? Meeting needs is really, that's what keeps innovation. That's what makes innovation so good, right? Because you're meeting needs. How can I be more efficient? Man, you would think we were talking about the company Apple and how they integrated music on. They took the phone, they took your iPod, right? And they fused it, they integrated it, and it's like, wait, I could talk on the phone, get off the phone, and play my music from the same device. Now, whether you're a Droid or Apple person, man, you can play music, you can do Excel sheets, you can run your business, you can send emails, you can, like, just from your phone. Like, man, shout out to anybody who still using landlines. I mean, God bless. Like, I'm talking about at home, not your ministry, not your workplace. I'm talking about at home, right? Like, man, just shout out, man, that you feel like you saving money because you got the trio, you got internet, cable, and the phone. Like, when you pay for something that you're not using, but but I'm just saying, like, just how innovative that was, right? And again, as I mentioned, man, I think it's Life Church or Life Group with the Bible app, right? But then now, right, not just read the Bible, but you get devotions, right? And then you can create a community that's reading the same devotion. Then they say you can send it to your friends, right? And it's all about engagement.
Yes.
Amplified by Ministry Brands. Thank you. Yeah. So Amplified by Ministry Brands, to those out there who are working in ministry, look them up. You're looking for a new system. Looking for a new system to
the one good thing about that system is it focuses on the people. So you can literally have a profile for each member, and you can put different things in that profile, and you can, and depending on who is in your back end, who's your admin, you can set who sees what. And so you can have all this information. And so looking at the health side, allergies and things that people have, or when you have events and food, you can know, okay, we're not going to have this because such and such has this allergy. Or just thinking about the prayers that people are having, or if you know that someone's about to have surgery, like those different things that you can put in the system. So it triggers other events. Like one thing that we do in the church when someone is sick, or if they're having major surgery, for 2 weeks, we're going to make sure that they're good on dinner. Like their family's not going to have to worry about that. And so with this system, we can already put those reminders in to the rest of our staff. Like, hey, this person is having surgery. Who's going to get the gift cards, or who's cooking dinner, or like all those different things. And we can bring that all together, in one place. And it takes the load off of emailing this person, telling this person, all of that. When you have everything from an app, that they will make the app for you.
Oh man, that's great, T.
Yeah. And then church, I would say we're about maybe 70, 80 when everybody there, and when everybody's not there, it's about 30 of us. You know how they go. Yeah. But I think for the small church that we do a lot. Like, so with everything we have going on here, and even with, we do innovation when it comes to our mission, our international mission in Sierra Leone. So like, for example, we have been talking about doing a hospital over there for a while. And we had so many issues with finding land, and there's just different people that is trying to take your money and things like that, and saying this land, but somebody else has the deed. And so instead of going that route, we pivot. And what we did is we have a compound that's where we stay. That's where we have our sewing school and our computer school. And what we did is we built on top of that. So instead of having this big hospitals with the vision that we saw, God was like, no, you can still have just as much impact. Put the clinic on top of the school. And that's exactly what we did. We couldn't find the land. So instead of going out, we went up. And so when they go in September, they're opening the clinic. And so that's the different things that you have to think differently about. Like I said, small church, we have a small school, and now we're going to have a clinic that's going to be able to meet the needs.
See, let's talk about a word that I believed was overused during the pandemic, and we went away from it. I went away from it because it was just overused, and I was just tired of just hearing everybody talk about it. But it was useful. It's what was happening. Um, but oftentimes people have this is where people kind of get stuck in the process. That word pivot.
Yeah.
That word pivot. For some people, pivoting can present this big roadblock
Or failure. Like, oh, I did what everybody said I put on social media that I was going to do.
Yeah, it's but just in the story that you just mentioned of like with the school, man, let's talk about that process of pivoting. Like what I don't need so much the details of the discussions that were being had, but like just understanding like why that was necessary and the outcome because you had to make the pivot because you ran into a roadblock. It's like it trying to bully our way into going this way versus changing or rerouting or pivoting to go higher rather than expanding out. Man, just talk about like how critical that was to still achieve the goal or get done what you had in mind to get done.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's so many different communities over there, and there's just one specific community that they consider the kind of handicapped community. And so what we started sending over equipment and things like that, trying to just when they went out and they would, because let me step back a bit. So when we go over, we get big bags of rice and beans, and the team breaks it down while they're there into smaller bags. And so we go to different communities and we pass that out. So when they go and they pass it out, they're talking to the people about what they needed. And it was the simple things like Tylenol. They were walking and they didn't have necessarily the right crutches and things like that. And so the need for just basic medical supplies and equipment was so large. And so when we started, we would do like kind of like, I guess you could call it a mobile clinic, where they would just set outside in the field and they would have a long line. But we only had one nurse that was going, and the lines were so long. It's like they couldn't even advertise it until like hours before because they didn't want to get ambushed. And so the need was so great. My dad was like, how can we help these people on a bigger scale? And so, and of course, we always think big, dream big, like, God, I see the vision. We're going to help this whole community. And so, and that's how we went with, hospital. Like, okay, we can do that. We have nurses. We have people that's been giving us, this different equipment. And when they were talking about, because at first it was finances, like the amount of money, equivalent to over here, it seems like pennies, but over there, it's still a lot. And the amount of money that it would take to first get the land, and then thinking about, okay, if we get the land, then who are we going to get to build it? And the who part was important because you have to trust the people that you're working with, because you don't know if those people are actually going to do it. We have staff that are there, but we're not physically there to make sure that people are doing what they said they were supposed to do. So it was going to be a significant project. And we were thinking about, okay, how can we take this on if we're only going once a year? So there was a lot of different discussions on this is going to be a significant effort. However, the need is right now. It's going to take time to build a building, to get, all of that together. So first to get this land, because it seemed like the paperwork to get the land would take a year in itself.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't going to work. We need to meet the need right now. And so thinking about someone else at our church, at the they have a architect background, and I say everything you need is in the house. And so he put the plans together, and he said, you know what, we can put it on top. And then so that, and in that sense, it's just like we already have a building. It makes sense. And they have a different walkway where they can walk up to. It's just enough space. We can control the crowd. And so keeping on that kind of health theme, we saw that either people were malnourished or, they didn't have the money to get the things. Like, we're trying to do rice and beans, but they were like, we do that mostly when we go over in September. How can we feed the people while we're not there? And so what we did is we set up a food plot. And so it's pretty much a garden, a community garden. We just had a well that was built in order to get water to the rest of the garden. And so it's like those simple things that we take for granted here. But if you just think differently over there, it's huge. So now they got different things growing because we were able to put the well in so you get the water, because they have really dry seasons. They also have really rainy seasons. So you have to balance that. But there's different things that can be done, and simple things like just a garden can benefit the people. If they're eating right, they can feel better. Like everything ties together. It all ties together. And like I said, we are a small church. So you can't, I know a lot of people like to use the excuse that, oh no, we're too small, we can't do that. And we've had a lot of different churches look at us and be like, what y'all know about going to Sierra Leone? Y'all don't know nothing about international mission work. Oh, okay. But I know God does, and watch us work. Like,
he's the God of all nations, God of all creation.
Yes.
Come on here. Listen, this is good. And that's good, T, because again, tapping into God is being innovative.
Yeah.
Because he's the source and the resource.
Absolutely.
He's the real plug.
Absolutely.
So it's like in those moments, all right, God, I need a strategy. God, what am I not seeing? Holy Spirit, show me what I'm not seeing. Right? Like it's unfortunate that we underutilize the Holy Spirit.
Absolutely.
We underutilize, just like this device we underutilize. If you just texting and calling people, you're underutilizing this device. It can do so much more. He can do so much more. But we limit it to right? But Holy Spirit, I need a strategy. Holy Spirit, I need a contact. Holy Spirit.
Contact, yes.
Show me what I'm not seeing, right? Holy Spirit, I may be thinking about this wrong. Download the thought, the idea, the scheme, the strategy that I need for this moment, for this situation, to meet this goal that I know that you burdened me with.
Absolutely.
Right? So it is really for you to do it through me, and I'm making myself available.
Yes.
And he says, hey, you have an architect right in your church.
Put it on top.
Give him the idea. Hey, let's build on top.
Boom.
Top. Because, I mean, again, sometimes I think the other part, even though I was saying give me the strategy, but that's why I said also show me what I'm not seeing, or show me who I'm not seeing that I need to see, because it may not be me.
Right.
Somebody else may have the answer that I'm connected to.
Right. And so you got to be open to hear other people's ideas, especially, as leaders in the church, as pastors in the church. You may not have all the answers. And that's why you lean on your team. It goes back to surveying your team and knowing who's in your team to tap into. And so if you just try to run this whole thing by yourself, it's going to fail every time. It's going to fail every time. And God has just shown himself mighty. There is nothing that we have set out to do when it comes to Sierra Leone, when it comes to our local communities, because we give out food and things in these areas. We help. We have a women's kind of what do you call it, that have dealt with, I'm losing the word, domestic violence. Okay. And so we support them. We've cooked for them. We've gone out there with them. We've done supplies for like toiletry bags and things like that. Those simple things that just can reach the community. So it doesn't matter how small you are. It doesn't matter, how much money you have. People will donate, but you have to get up. You gotta get up. You gotta be active. You cannot use excuses. I mean, accountability is huge. Huge. So if you're gonna, say yes, God gave me this vision, and this is my purpose, and this is what I'm supposed to do. You cannot leave it there. You got to see what the next step, and you can't let the fact that I don't have all the resources paralyze you into doing nothing.
You talking, T. You talking. Man, this has been a great conversation tonight. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We're participating now, but I normally go back and watch, and I can't wait to watch to really hear and pull from this conversation tonight. Because again, and I wanted people to see you because you're doing it in a space that a lot of people are doing it, but a lot of people are stuck, right? And they're frustrated.
Yeah.
Many are aborting the assignment because they're just looking at those who have made it or those who have said to be successful, and they're popular, right? They have a popularity to them, and it's like, no, there are others that look like you.
Yeah.
There are others that are not on these platforms that are doing it at a high level.
Yeah.
You have character tests. Everybody goes through character tests. You just have to show up. You gotta show up. You gotta step into action.
Yeah. Like we will find there's so much to do. There's so much to do. You just got to be a willing vessel.
Yeah, we definitely got to emphasize being that willing vessel and not allowing ourselves to accept excuses, right?
Yes.
That doesn't help us, to achieve or fulfill that goal. All right, T. So as we prepare to close, I want you to encourage somebody, right? All right, we're gonna act like we're on TBN. I want you to look in that camera right there. I want you to look in that camera right there, and I want you to talk to those people that are out there in the world. Okay, hold on. All right. No, but T, I want you to, just encourage our viewers tonight, or our viewers whenever they watch, in whatever space or whatever sphere of influence that they have, how they can be effective, efficient, impactful, innovative, using, what they have, what's in your hand.
Yeah.
What resources do you have access to? What people? And when I say resources, I'm talking not just money. I'm talking people, relationships, right? Gifts. Who do you know?
Who do you know?
What do you know? Where can you go to find out?
Absolutely.
So if you could just take the next couple of moments to encourage someone tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, this is me. I'm gonna give my age. I'm 37 years old, and I've been a PK all my life, and I don't know it all. I don't claim to know it all. However, you have to be willing to go out and do the research. If you're so passionate about God and what He's called you to do, and how He's raising up people, we say He will draw all men unto Him. We're a part of that process, and so if you can just think about, forget about the excuses and think about what it could be and the impact that could be drawn in, and then go back and seek God and say, okay, how can I position myself? How can I position myself to be where you want me to be in the capacity that I can do it? Because we're not in the overworked hustle. We're not doing that. We're not doing that anymore. So you have to ask yourself, in what I'm able to do, how can I show up? How can I show up? And that's going to look different for everyone. And you don't have to look at somebody else's journey. You don't have to look about what anyone else's gift is, what they do in the church, how well they do it. Look at you. Look at you. Look at what you bring to the table. Look at your heart. Look at your attitude. Look at your position. And if you set yourself in that space and you really pray and seek God, and you really keep the vision in your head of the impact that it can have. And it doesn't have to be thousands. If it's just that one person that gives their life to Christ, it's that one person that doesn't end up committing suicide. If that's that one person that says, okay, I'm going to go to the doctor, I'm going to go and call my parents that I haven't called. Think about that impact and what, you could do. Sharing your story. That's one way. you sharing your story, you may think it's small, you may think it's insignificant, but if you just share your story and you be vulnerable and uncomfortable, God will meet you exactly where you are. He will give you the words to say. He will give you the peace that you need, even while you're sharing your story. So it doesn't have to be some big, wild thing that you have to do. When we're talking about innovation and like you said, when you look at these big churches and things like that, you think it's more than it is, but you sharing your story in different ways could truly benefit someone else. So don't neglect yourself. Don't neglect your temple. Don't neglect your relationship with God. Because I'm telling you, if you pray, if you seek him first, he is there. He is there waiting for you.
I love this.
Waiting.
Yeah, I love this.
Well, just come to him.
Wow. Listen, if you are looking for someone to help you with business and help you navigate some of the tough terrain of moving things forward, see, how can they follow you? I mean, I know like you're not on some. I know you're not on some like content type
right
thing, but or if someone wanted to get in touch with you, like, is there an email address to the firm,
absolutely,
to the business that they could reach out?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have a blog for small businesses. So it's just, I'm gonna get Nicole to actually put it in the chat for me real quick. So I have that. You can come to info at strategicsitellc.com is how you can reach me you can use the contact page on our website. I'm going to send this to Nicole for her to put in. We have a podcast, The Front Runner, that is on all podcast platforms that you can, if you're looking for help in starting a business, you can look out there. I'm on Facebook, Tiara Jones. I'm trying to think what my Instagram, this is how terrible I am about social media. I got to do better. Tiara or LJ, reach out to me in any other platforms. The Front Runner Podcast, Strategic Site Consulting on Facebook or Instagram. Nicole put in the link to the blog. So on my website, you can contact us there as well. But we just really want to be a resource to you all when it comes to the to business and when it comes to the church. So I mean, I'm really true about this kingdom work and getting souls saved and getting people closer to God. And so we're here to help.
Man, see, I want to say thank you so much
Absolutely
for your time and your conversation tonight and your contribution to Infusion Talks. I believe definitely it was something that was beneficial. I believe something was added tonight. So you helped someone, you helped me, and looking forward to more that God is going to do through you.
Amen.
As you work your hands, work those ideas and the things that he downloads in you. Right. So again, I appreciate you. Love you. Everybody, listen, you're in the North Jersey area, June 6th and 7th. You don't want to miss it. Dr. Jermone Glenn. Listen, stay tuned, stay connected too, because what I'm going to do over the next week, I am definitely going to share some clips from Dr. Glenn. Also, join me over the next couple of weeks, man. I'm going to be talking to some fitness instructors as we talk about innovation in the health space. Like we just, we're talking about physical health. We're talking about nutrition, talking to people who have multiple gifts and talents and they do several things well. And we want you to use all your gifts, for the glory of God. And so we got that conversation. I got my brother, Jonathan Dunn, coming on. We're talking innovation and creativity. My trainer, Andre Jackson, my brother, my younger brother, Dre Jackson, my younger non-blood brother, Dre Jackson. He's going to be on with me. That's the one we're going to be talking nutrition and fitness. Just an amazing story that he has and what he's doing. Dion Cashaw just came on. Dion, venture capitalist, serial entrepreneur. We're going to be talking about some things that he's doing in that space of entrepreneurship. So I mean, we just got some fusion talks happening, man. But we're culminating everything June 6th and 7th, and we're looking for our community to support, show love. We will live stream. So even those that are not in the area, if you would like to register and get the content that will happen on that Saturday, just reach out. You can DM me. I'm jae.moody12, Facebook and IG. Also, you can go to cccofnj.org, click the flyer. That'll get you access. And man, just check us out. So everybody, I look forward to seeing you at prayer in the morning.
Real quick, I know you had someone that is sponsoring men. I will sponsor 2 women to go as well.
Got you. So we got 2 men, two women tonight. That's 4 seats. I mean, man, this is good, y'all. So, we're going to get those seats filled. T, we're going to reach out to you. We're going to let you know who those women are. So we have creatives, we have leaders and pastors, business owners that have already committed to be there with us. We're going to have a small moment. We're going to have a couple of small groups of think tanks happening on that Saturday. Dr. Jermone Glenn will deliver the key note workshop. Then there'll be some group activities, again, because the idea is to create solutions, to tap into what innovation looks like for each and every one of us in our industry or the sector that we're in. There's so much innovation out there. It's untapped.
It is.
And we're trying to tap into it so that, this season doesn't have to be one where you felt like you lost, right? You learn. Or in this season, there are some that have tapped in and they're thriving.
Yeah.
They're doing well. They're navigating the transitions and changes as they happen, almost, real time, because they've prepared. But we can go on and on, y'all. Tiara, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you, man. Shout out to your family. I saw your grandmother on. It's my girl.
Yeah,
Lady Christmas.
Yes. Big Grams.
Matter of fact, I think I saw a bishop on too. I think
he was on.
I think he was on. I think I saw him earlier. Yeah, but man, shout out to your dad, your mom and dad, man. I appreciate you. Nicole and Ray, thank you guys so much for just being an amazing family. I think I saw a couple of your family members on. Cherie was on.
I even got one of our nurses is on, Rotera. She joined, so I appreciate her.
Rotera, thank you. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate you. Greatly appreciate you. All right, peace and blessings, family, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Family, what up? I have a question for you today. It's with a little sense of urgency. Here's the word. Here's the question. It is, what are you doing? Serious question that I'm asking right now. What are you doing? What are you doing with your gifts? What are you doing with your talents? What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your resources? With all of the challenges that are happening in us and around us, this is the perfect opportunity for us to create. This is the perfect opportunity for us to partner, collaborate, be in the right environments where solutions are being discussed. There's something that's happening June 6th and 7th that I think will be a perfect opportunity for all of us to come together. And it's our second installment of Infusion. And the focus and the theme is the word innovate. Oh yeah, we're going to be talking solutions. We're going to be talking creating. We're going to be talking renovating. We're going to be talking modernizing. We're going to be talking about progress and moving forward because the solution is within us. So if you feel stuck, you want to be there June 6th and 7th. You feel frustrated, you want to be there June 6th and 7th because there is something you can do about it. I've invited my good brother, Dr. Jermone Glenn, to join us as we curate this education to give us the tools that we need to be innovative. Sometimes necessity is the fuel for innovation. And I believe now is the time for us to create. See you June 6th and 7th.